You know, when you brought up poor, you really learn how to appreciate life. You really learn how to appreciate life. And I like to talk about some of the things that made us happy when we grew up without having so much, when we grew up poor, when we grew up in the times where the crack was hitting hard and the things that we saw, we lived and learned from it. And some of the things that make you happy when you grew up poor, if you got a car at all that worked, it didn't matter what kind of car it was, long as it drove. And I used to call mine the everyday vehicle. Well, why you call it the everyday vehicle? Well, because every time I got it in every day, something was wrong with it. And you'll hear a new sound. I call it the everyday new sound vehicle because I fix something one day, get it the next day, be man, what the hell is that sound? It's making a new sound. But that car kept driving, didn't it, people? And then you can impress. See, back then you can impress a woman with easy stuff like your artwork in your car. They get in there, girl, boy, my man artwork in his car. What if it got back to those days where it was so easy to get a woman like that because your artwork in your car, and you can go to McDonald's and treat them a burger and some fries? It ain't like that nowadays no more. But when you brought up poor, you learned how to appreciate life. Man, every time I got in my car, something was wrong with it. And when I wasn't riding, I was walking. And then somebody always want to pull up on the side of you and talk to you. Roll the window down. Well, damn it, the window don't let down. It's hot. The air ain't working. And if you got that air working, boy, you was balling back then. You know what? We used to get excited over too when our car passed inspection. You be sitting there praying, Lord, let this go by so this car can pass inspection. And you driving that car in there knowing it ain't gonna pass inspection. But oh, a miracle come. What about when you had money for the ice cream truck? Oh, them was the days growing up. Oh man, you hear that ice cream man coming, and we used to have old man Joe, and Joe sometime would come by and throw out free candy. And if you didn't excuse that phone, if you didn't have no ice cream money, you was up the creek. And the other little kids in the neighborhood, they'll tease the mess out of you, and they be licking their ice cream cone right in front of you, talking about nan and then and then you didn't get no ice cream, you be ready to slap the hell out of them. It's just another video, man. I'm just, I got a sense of humor, y'all. And things that made you happy. Oh, if you had a credit card, you was praying that when you slid it, it went through, knowing you didn't have no money on there. But you used to say, thank God for the overdraft. I know I ain't got no money, but I'm finna overdraft. Y'all, I made it a lot of days by overdrafting. I owe banks money to this day behind overdrafts. Well, you know how they turn it into the credit reunion. Credit union. And when we was growing up, and still to this day, you got little kids got bills in their name. Oh yeah, you parents, you use their name good, and they be wondering why they can't say this and say that. And you tell them to shut up until you start paying bills, and they got bills in their name already. What made us happy also, we ate something new. Because when you ate beans and weenies all the time, if Papa JT and Mama came in the door with some steak and potatoes, all it was on and popping. See, we learned how to appreciate life at an early age. Y'all catch what I'm saying in this video. Things didn't matter back then, and to me, they still don't matter. I'm glad I grew up the way I grew up. Man, you know what else made you happy? When you didn't have to go to church. Oh man, they used to make us go to church. Boy, I hated it. I told my grandma one day, which is Papa JT, Mama Masa. I told her one day when I was little, Papa, I'll never forget. I said, man, I don't even want to go to church no more. I said, dang, I don't. Is the Lord going to really hold us accountable for missing one Sunday? Oh, man, I used to think about that all the time. And see, now these kids are so spoiled nowadays with video games. And they got so much things out now, iPods and so on and so on. When you put a kid in time out now, that's fun time for them. See, we didn't have time out. They took the time out to whoop the hell out of us. That was our time out. You pray that they'll stop beating you at a certain time. And we made up games to play. We come up with games you ain't never even heard of. See, we didn't have to have toys and stuff. We scored on each other back then. Me and my brothers, man, we would scold each other and have the best time of our life. You know what else made us happy when the lights came back on? But we got used to not having lights. Also, mom and daddy would light them candles up. Oh man, my neighbor across the street, oh, they used to go cut their own electricity on. And some used to run cars to their next door neighbor's house. See, the reason I'm saying this, people, a recession is nothing new for me. A recession is nothing new for a whole lot of folks that struggle. Because one thing we have is creativity, and we know how to survive when things are going down. I don't panic when things go down. My lights flicker off and go off for 2 or 3 days. Hey, I know how to survive. And we all should learn how to do without. And I mean that in a good way. What am I saying? If you just focus on your money and you caught up in how much money you got, and if your money gets taken away from you, you ain't gonna know what to do. Oh man, we got used to utilities being cut off. Like that old movie Do the Right Thing on that scene when them kids went out there and what were they, teenagers? They went out there and cut the fire hydrant on outside, and they was having fun in that water. Oh, that's true. That's true. Because some people didn't have water. People across the street from us didn't have no water, no gas, and they bootleg their electricity. You better thank God that your lights and your utilities and everything is on. I mean, don't take life for granted, people, because the little things in life mean a whole lot to me. Man, I remember our next door neighbor was so filthy. And Pop, you gonna laugh when I say this, but we got used to them rats, didn't we? Man, we had so many rats and roaches in the house, I thought they were my best friends sometimes. Roaches always came out, especially when company come over, and they be wondering what you doing up. I remember Ricky Smiley saying something like this. You had them roaches, man, that wasn't scared of nothing. I used to say them roaches came from next door. Them big old pregnant roaches laying out they little babies everywhere. But man, we had them rats, wood rats. Oh man. So I got to the point, Pop, when I started seeing the rat, I was like, oh, he just chilling. Most folks would take off running. I remember one day this big old rat man, it glid off the ceiling fan. That junk was so big, man, he looked like he was human. And I remember me and my little brother, we beat the hell out these rats with some baseball bats one time at TL house. I remember when riding bikes was so much fun. That was fun to us. Our bikes back then was like our cars. We took care of them. We sanded them down. We painted them. If you didn't have a bike, you wasn't doing nothing back then. And these kids nowadays some of them not gonna never know what a struggle is because they so spoiled. And I ain't gonna even talk about music, K-Ray, when all we had was that music, man. Old school music to this day is gonna be my favorite because I love music. Music is what kept me through. And when you ask your parents for money, you was asking for trouble. But I like when we was younger and Pop had us detailing those cars. So they showed us how to get out there and make our money. You know, how many of y'all would ask y'all mom and daddy be counting that money like a whole bunch of hundreds, and you reach over there and say, can I have some? They say, boy, that's bill money. It always was bill money, wasn't it, Pop? And you know what? It always was bill money. And to this day, now I know what y'all mean. When I got out on my own, when I left home at 18 years old, I started knowing what that always bill money felt like. Because when you get out on your own and have to learn the hard way, life will teach you. What about when we used to use that oven for heat? A lot of them heaters didn't work. Boy, if you had a gas stove back in the day, you was balling. You make that bologna on that eye of that stove and let that little burnt get in there. Oh, see, I'm having flashbacks right now. Boy, that bologna, if you didn't have bologna, you made you a sugar sandwich. You made you a syrup sandwich. You made you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Or you had a wish sandwich with just bread. Well, what's a wish sandwich? Wish you had some damn meat to go on it. We were so creative as kids, man. We didn't need toys. I remember Mama would make us tents out of sheets on the bed sheets. She'd take them sheets, man. We would think we was in the country somewhere. make them big old plate of nachos. We go outside in the backyard and we think we somewhere far in another country having fun just in the backyard. We would even do it in the room, and we would make our own drum sets. We would make a drum set and tear up all mama pots and pans. See, I wish a lot more kids could learn how to be creative like that. Games that you didn't even have to have toys. Y'all remember games like red light, green light, hide and go see, hopscotch, and so many games, man. We didn't even need cable back then. We didn't even really need television. You know why? Because you can open up the front door and see so much action going on your own street, on your own next door neighbor house. You can always look outside and see a good movie. You'll see a good action, somebody fighting. You'll see somebody getting into it with they wife or relationship problem, and all the answers was out there outside too. And we should learn when we was growing up, don't be like him or don't be like her. See, we had a lot of great examples of what not to be. I remember my neighbor, man, all of his utility was off. He would bootleg his electricity, but all of his electricity was cut off. We played games like Find Me in the Dark. And y'all know what I'm talking about. If you grew up poor, you played games like Find Me in the Dark. Well, what am I meaning by that? Everybody had that dark cousin or dark friend that you couldn't find them when it was dark outside. And if your lights was off, you sure wasn't going to find them unless they smiled and had white teeth. We had a homeboy so black, man, I won't reveal his name, but man, to this day, he was so black, he got in my car one time and my oil light came on. This boy is so black. When we played hide and go see, I ran right into him. I mean, when we played Find the Friend in the Dark, I ran right into him and didn't even know he was right there. I bumped my head on him. I said, damn, boy. I said, you black. You black. And I'm just being fun in this video too, though, man. But what about people that have electricity, man? I mean, you had to think about that. And you would run that long extension cord next door. You wasn't worried about no generator. You wasn't worried about no generator at all. Man, what about when you used to get on the bus stop? And it's always that one stupid person come ask that stupid question. It could be 10 or 11 people on the bus stop, and this fool gonna run up and say, hey man, the bus came yet? Y'all done seen that. Hey, ask that question, have the bus came yet? And everybody's still standing on the bus stop. And you know what I used to say? Yeah, man, it came. We just standing out here for decoration. The video games that's out now, man, it's just, some of them are just terrible for kids to play. Even the cartoons now, man. What am I saying? The little things in life brought us to where we are now. You didn't worry about bill collectors back then. Matter of fact, I remember when caller ID wasn't out. They messed up when they came out with call ID because you know who's calling. And we used to see that call ID just like I do to this day. I look at my call ID. I don't know why these folks keep calling me, begging me, like they finna get their money back. I'm like DL Hughley say, hey, y'all pick a day and y'all figure it out. Call me. We'll all be surprised. Because I ain't got the money today. I didn't have it last week and I ain't going to have it next week. And with that being said, man, just a little sense of humor, man. But at the same time, I'm being real. When you grew up kind of poor, it helped you go a long way. God bless you and God keep you.